Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing K-1 fiancé visa, specifically expectations associated with the K-1 visa, physical presence in the United States, and adjustment of status. What are we talking about here? Well, for those who are unaware, it is possible for an American citizen to bring their fiancé to the United States for a period of not more than 90 days for the specific purpose of marrying that person. Now, once you get married, you can then apply for what's called adjustment of status. Basically, apply to get that person their lawful permanent residence, i.e. green card status. Now, the reason for the video is there's a lot of expectations out there about how this whole process works, and people kind of think of it, especially the American petitioners that are usually I'm dealing with American men married to Thai women, or marrying Thai women, ultimately married to. And, look, they don't really see it from the standpoint of this is an immigrant. This is a person who's come from overseas. They're a foreign national in America. They have to go through the process of becoming a lawful permanent resident. And there's a lot of expectations that need to kind of get in alignment with how the system actually works. Yes, it is possible to gain what's called advanced parole. And what I mean to say with regard to expectations regarding travel. I'll talk to people that'll say, but she needs to get back to whatever back in Thailand pretty quickly after arriving. Well, fair enough, but you need to plan around the notion that you need to remain in the United States, generally speaking, for long enough to get that green card issued. Now, once the residence is attached and issued, that person can leave the United States in a reasonable manner. Now, you have to worry about issues pertaining to raising the presumption of abandonment of lawful permanent residence, as I've discussed in many other videos. But barring that, and that's a pretty, you got to go a pretty long way to raise that presumption. But barring that, yes, it is possible for that person to leave after they have their green card. It's also possible to receive what's called advanced parole, an advanced parole travel document, to be able to leave while the adjustment is pending. Failure to get an advanced parole and leaving while the adjustment is pending causes the entire case to extinguish, and you have to start back from square one. So that's not a good idea to begin with. But the point I'm trying to make in this video is to get one's expectations in line with the reality. And Americans have a problem kind of seeing this because we don't have to deal with our own immigration system. But the fact is, it is a foreign national. They are on U.S. soil. They are going through due process to get their residence. And there is a level of vetting that goes with that. There's also a level of delay associated with maintaining one's, it's not just going to be overnight, is what I'm trying to say. Now, exactly how long it takes to adjust status, it's going to depend a lot on the local field office of USCIS that you may have to process biometrics through. It also may depend on the service center that's processing it generally. But that said, the reason for the video is you need to get your expectations in line that you're going to be spending a few months at least in the United States to process that green card after arriving in K-1 status. And you need to have the attitude of, hey, we're effectively at the government's mercy. And I know people don't like to hear that, but you really are. Until that green card's issued, this person is under, I hesitate to say investigation, but let's call it scrutiny for whether or not they really intend to remain in America, whether or not everything about the relationship is hunky-dory. And until you've basically gotten through that process, you really shouldn't act like the government's like your travel agent or something and needs to just make accommodation for you or make accommodation for you and your fiance. Yes, there are mechanisms to seek, for example, like advanced parole, to seek the ability to leave. But again, this is an adjudication of permanent residence, and you need to have your expectations in line with the likelihood of how it's actually going to play out.